Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Money Date. I hope your week is going awesome. It is a hump day, or if you don't want to think of it that way, it's Wednesday. My name is Anna, and I want to talk to you about something that's been on my mind for a little bit, but I think we can relate that to how priorities that we set for our financial goals and what we're trying to accomplish, right, I think needs to be discussed and have a different kind of view. So my question for you today is, are your financial priorities are on track? If so, I'd love to know how, and how are you keeping track of those priorities? Welcome. Hi, Wanda. Thanks for hopping on live. Good to have you. For those of you watching in replay, awesome to have you here as well. Share this out. I love some of your feedback and comments. Now, I want you to kind of pause a little bit and think about what is all going on in your life. I know we're all busy. I know that a lot going on, not just for me, for everybody else. And then one other thing to think about is, how are we going to keep track of priorities? And the reason I didn't say tasks, activities, goals is because you can only have so many priorities in line, right? Hi, Lori. Good to have you here. So, but to get to a point where you have priorities as opposed to have just particular projects or tasks you're managing, I need you to think about this a little differently. Sorry, somebody's trying to message me. Okay. Now, a couple days ago, I talked about something called a power list. A power list is a particular set of activities that you work on every day. Those activities or tasks, they're critical tasks which help you get closer to your goals. So you need to have specific identifiable goals, whether there are financial goals, physical goals, how do you want to look, how much money you want to make, when do you want to retire, when do you want to take that next vacation, and so forth. So you've got to have those in place. But when you look at saying, all right, what am I going to focus on? You can only put so many priorities in place. There's only can be number one or number two for just a few things, right? There's only number one, there's only number two in all the energy you have. So what I want to focus on, and with the power list that I was discussing earlier, you can have only so many things on your list that gonna get you, that are critical, moving closer to those goals. Now, with having your priorities on track, because we can get distracted, right? There's lots of temptations in all kinds of ways. Now, I always talk about this on my money dates. Very simple things that you've got to maintain in the background are how much spending have you done? How much income did you generate over the last week, right? And this is something you would need to be doing consistently. So it's almost like a recurring system, right? You sit down and you look at your overall baseline finances and say, all right, I know how much money I've made. I know how much expenses we've accumulated over the last week, and I know what my goals are. You see, this is where it comes in, knowing what your goals are. You've identified them. So this is on a weekly basis. Now, we're coming at the end of the month, right? Almost today's March 27th. What I do is I sit down, right, and I look at everything. I've been doing this consistently every week, right? Looking at the smaller pieces of the pie. Now, once a month, you've got to clean up the whole system. You've got to pay your bills. You've got to do all of that. This is a good time, right, to have a global money date where you also get to review your goals. Now, when you start working with a professional, a financial planner, a money coach, or even if you have these conversations with somebody that you share your financial life, you get to talk about bigger things. And so on this global money date, right, let's think about mini money dates every week, global money dates. You still talk about the same things, but you got to focus on what your big things in front of you. What is that big mountain you're trying to climb, right? Because if you have that in front of you and you're over here, how is it possible? Just these little steps you're going to make along the way. For example, let's say you're planning to buy a new house in a couple of years. So how is that going to work? You need a certain amount of money for a down payment, but you're all the way over here. Maybe you need to sell a current home that you have, figure out how much equity you're going to have or not going to have, and then work towards saving for a down payment, right? But if you jump from where you are today to, let's say, 3 years ahead without having specific sort of shorter steps in place, it's not going to be possible. You're going to get discouraged, and that goal is going to get thrown out of the window. So the priorities that I'm talking about today are specific focused activities that you're going to put in front of yourself every day, with the bigger goal standing behind. So like, have that big mountain behind you, but what are the little small things you need to be doing every day? Because if it's not done every day, it's almost never going to get done. So I don't want you to fall into that bucket where you think about, oh, one day I'll get to retire, or one day, I'll get to pay off my debt, or whatever that financial goal is. So remember, small mini money days to focus on just kind of basic finances, because you got to have those in place. And then once a month, you got to revisit and say, all right, what am I doing? How am I managing? How am I staying on track? Now, I want to go back real quick and cover the power list. And so this is something that I've been working for myself. A power list does not have to be just for financial goals. It's a really, really powerful and helpful tool where you can put 5 things, right? 5 things that you are working on. It could be, and I want you to think about globally, I want you to think about, what are you doing to stay healthy, right? Like physically healthy. You're drinking more water. For example, this is my water bottle. This is a gallon of water that I gotta stay on the top of. And so that is a kind of funny bottle. But that's one of the goals that I have on my list, right? Is that gonna take me a while to get used to drinking that much? Probably. So I'm still not 100% on the top of my goal. So I've got to have that on my power list. Are you exercising more? Are you eating healthy? Are you saving more? Are you working longer? Whatever the things that are important to you, that what goes on your power list. It stays on that list, and it's only 5 things. You got to pick 5, right? It's not 25, right? Because what I want you to do is I want you to get rid of the to-do list. That's gone. To-do list does not exist. You have a power list. But putting together power list has to have a broader baseline, which are in real life, and we're talking about here on this Money Date show, are your financial goals. So take a step back. This is more of a practical kind of exercise for you. But over the next week, sit down and map out, right? Think about financial goals, which become priorities, have to be very specific. You have to specifically state how much dollar amount you need for that goal. What's the date? When are you going to accomplish that goal? Is it going to be 2 years from now, 3 years from now, 20 years from now? Whatever that is. Yeah, your goal might change, and you can, if it does, you can redirect where your resources are going, but at least you're not wasting time. That's all I'm talking about here. If you hear my message, it's the time that you don't want to waste. So let me know how you are keeping track of your financial priorities, because if you aren't, then you're not moving in the direction that you want to. All right, I'll see you guys next week. Don't forget, by the end of the month, sit down and do a global review of your overall finances. Make sure all your bills are paid, and stay tuned. I'm working on something exciting that I'm going to share with you in the next couple of weeks. As you all remember, Money Date came out of me having frustrations and wanted to have these little checkpoints in time to make sure my system was on track. But there's a bigger story behind it. So I'm gonna keep you intrigued for now, but stay tuned for more announcements. I hope you guys having a great day. Thanks so much for tuning in.